Bonjour. Today's lesson is about verb réfléchir, in English called reflexive verbs. In your vocab list, you have about 12, 13 reflexive verbs, and we can tell that they're reflexive because of a little word that comes before the verb itself, which is se. So anytime you see se before the verb, you know that it is reflexive, and we'll talk about what that means exactly in a moment. But first, let's just go through the vocabulary really quickly. So we have se baigner, se brosser, se brûler, se couper, se coiffer, se coucher, se déshabiller, s'habiller, se laver, se lever, se maquiller, se peigner, se réveiller. So all of the verbs, the reflexive verbs on our list for this unit are all ER verbs. So we're going to conjugate them just like ER verbs. There are also reflexive irregular verbs and reflexive IR and RE, but we're going to focus on the ER to kind of simplify things. So what's different about reflexive verbs is, again, this piece that's se. Okay, so we're going to conjugate the verb as we always do, but then this se is going to change based on who it's being talked about. The se is talking about one's self. So se réveiller isn't just to wake up, because you could wake someone up and that would just be réveiller, to wake someone up. But if you're waking yourself up, then it's se réveiller, to wake oneself up. So if I'm waking myself up, I say je me réveille. Je me réveille. Okay? If you're waking yourself up, it's tu te réveilles. If he or she is waking themselves up, or him or herself up, then it's il se réveille, elle se réveille. Okay? So in the il, elle singular, it doesn't change, it stays as se. In the je, it changes to me, and the tu to te. Okay? And then on the plural side, we have vous vous réveillez. Sounds a little weird to say vous twice in a row, but it is what you say. Vous vous réveillez. You all wake yourselves up. Nous nous réveillons. We wake ourselves up. And il se réveille. Elle se réveille. They wake themselves up. Okay? So again, if you're saying, I wake up my little sister, then you say, je réveille. But if you just wake up on your own, je me réveille. Okay? So the me, te, se, vous, nous, and se, those change with each reflexive verb. Okay? So the verb is conjugated, and then no matter what the reflexive verb is, you're going to change it to me, te, se, vous, nous, or se, depending on who is being talked about. Okay? So let's take a look at another example. Here we have the word s'habiller, and s'habiller means to dress oneself. Now you may notice here we don't have S-E, but we have S apostrophe, and that's because habiller, the H is silent, so it's a vowel sound. So it's going to contract, s'habiller. And we'll see that again in these other forms here, that it's an S apostrophe because the next word starts with a vowel sound. So we have, instead of je me habille, it's je m'habille, tu t'habilles, il s'habille, elle s'habille, vous vous habillez. Make sure you make a little liaison here. Okay. Vous vous habillez. Nous nous habillons. Another liaison. Nous nous habillons. And il s'habille. Elle s'habille. Okay? So once again, if you get yourself dressed in the morning, je m'habille. If you help a younger sibling get dressed, j'habille ma petite sœur. I dress my little sister. But I dress myself, je m'habille. Okay? going to include one more example because this is a verb to pay attention to because it does have a small change in the conjugation that you will see. So if we just take a moment to look at lever by itself, okay, just look at lever. Now, lever is a verb that has a certain characteristic that other verbs have as well. And this characteristic, you can see, it is the letter E followed by one consonant and then ER. So if you have E, consonant, ER, like in lever, then what you're going to do is in the je, tu, il, and il plural forms, you add an accent grave over that first E. Okay, and you see this in other verbs too, like, for example, promener. Okay, so we have E, consonant, ER. So in the je, you say, you say, je promène. Je promène with an accent over the E. So that's just one minor note about the verb lever is that that accent needs to be added for the je, tu, il, and il plural. Okay? So then as for the reflexive verb, we have je me lève, tu te lèves, il se lève, elle se lève, vous vous levez, nous nous levons, il se lève, elle se lève. So I get myself up. So if you get yourself up in the morning, je me lève, tu te lèves, you get yourself up in the morning, he or she gets him or herself up in the morning, you all, we all, and they all. So reflexive verbs. The se is going to change, and then you also conjugate your verb. So to see what that looks like in a little bit more context, okay, je me brosse. So we have the reflexive verb se brosser, which means to brush. Je me brosse les dents. So I brush my teeth. Je me brosse les dents. Okay, tu viens de te brûler la main. So remember venir de, did you just? Tu viens de te brûler la main. Did you just burn your hand? Okay. Elle se maquille les yeux. They put makeup on their eyes. Elle se maquille les yeux. Vous coupez les cheveux. Did you cut your hair? Did you cut your own hair? Vous coupez les cheveux. Okay. So if you have a body part that comes after the reflexive verb, you're going to use le, la, or les. So les dents, la main, les yeux, les cheveux, as opposed to saying my teeth, your hand, their eyes, okay, your hair. Use the le, la, or les. Okay? That's all I have for you today, so I'm going to wish you bonne chance, and I will see you next time.